Let's face it, we're living through the collapse of the old system. If you're like me and don't want to rely on others for your basic needs, having an emergency food supply is a must-have. Go to PREPAREWithInspired.com and save $200 on your 3-month emergency food supply. It's the most popular food kit out there. Your future self will thank you for it. Go to PREPAREWithInspired.com and order today. Hey, Inspired Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers, it's John Nolan here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, and hitting the notifications button so you'll get notified about new videos every day. Thank you also for joining us in the Inspired Newsroom, our new channel here on YouTube, as well as the Inspired community on Locals. All right, let's dive into it. You can't miss it. You can't turn away from it. Trump is fully back. He's been back for a while, but not like this, front and center, indictment, speeches. He's everywhere. Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States, has made a full comeback, leading in all polls and also attracting more hatred from certain people than ever. But can we actually, after 8 years of Trump in politics, take a more reasonable and level-headed perspective? Because I think that's what we need to do here. He's such a polarizing figure that people are having a hard time overcoming their emotions, that they've been trained to react that way, right? They've been trained by the media, they've been trained by both the Republicans and the Democrats to react emotionally to Trump. But let's look actually a little deeper here. And I want to first examine the era 2015 to 2023 since Trump entered politics. How has the world changed? My goodness, never have we seen ever before such an awakening on such a grand scale as during these years, and it is still going on. And I'm not saying Trump is the one responsible for it. I'm not saying he is the one who did it, but he was a catalyst. All of a sudden, there was a mainstream figure, there was a president of the United States that a lot of people could relate to because he spoke about the same issues and topics they used to speak about in close circles because it was so fringe, because it was so conspiracy theorist, because it was so crazy and out there. This has changed. With Trump, all the topics that used to be talked about in the conspiracy cycles became mainstream. The media couldn't help but report on it, even though they put a spin on it. It doesn't matter. The topics went mainstream. And this is what opened up this huge hole that we're now in, that we needed to be in to really examine things. Now let's look at the Trump presidency very objectively. And I want to ask those who are very opposed to Trump, if you can overcome your emotions guided by the mockingbird media and perhaps your political representatives just for a moment and ask yourself, where was I worse off during the Trump presidency? Where did I lose freedom? Where did I lose money in my wallet? Where did I lose anything? And I really want to ask you this because objectively speaking, I couldn't find a single group during the Trump presidency that was disenfranchised, that was disadvantaged, or that had huge losses as compared to other periods in this nation's history. Now you go fast forward and you look at the past 2 years, and we're in some of the worst economic downturns that we've experienced in this nation. We're having a socio-political, violent atmosphere that's never been here before. On an international scale, the country is absolutely a laughingstock for the whole world. We have disaster after disaster after disaster. So you could say that we've come from one of the most successful periods, and I'd say this kind of with a star on top, and the star means there needs to be more said about this. The successful period was only possible because it was a 4-year period. It was built on quicksand, but not by Trump. The whole system's built on quicksand, right? But now we're seeing one of the worst periods, and even though people have this contrast, they still can't get over their derangement syndrome and actually say, okay, I might not like the orange guy, I might not like how he speaks, but guess what? When he was president, things were a lot better. But, and I'm getting to the point here, okay? The point really is that we have been trained that monarchs, kings are bad, monarchies are bad, and absolute systems are bad. Yet everybody looks to the president, whether that's Trump or whether that's Biden. Well, nobody looks to Biden, but to the president as an institution to solve our problems. Looks to the president as this king-like figure, a savior figure that with the stroke of a pen can fix everything that was done wrongly before. And what a Trump figure is actually, to me, showing all the time is there's only so much space one man or one woman can hold. There's only so much one leader can do and should be able to do. This nation wasn't built on the premise that one person on top can steer the destiny of a whole nation. That's not how it was meant to be. One person can be a representative of the people. Yes, that is what the idea was. But the power of that person should be very, very limited. This nation was built on very limited government. The people are the ones who are steering the ship. And this is what, beyond anything, to me, speaks for the Trump presidency that we saw, is that we saw a lot of moving towards the constitutional principles. And you cannot undo 100, 200 years of moving away from that in such a short period of time. So we need to understand that too. It has always been the responsibility of the people to steer the destiny of a nation and not of a detached political class. And right now, you are looking at yet another layer that is showing itself to you as you're looking at indictments and more indictments and more indictments. And it's only for Trump. It's not for Obama. It's not for Bush. It's not for Clinton. It's not for any of them. And we all know they committed horrific crimes during their presidencies, war crimes. Let's look at the Iraq War. I mean, some people are estimating 3 million dead. How many Americans dead? How much money wasted? How much disaster? How much atrocity? And there is no persecution of anything like that. There's just one guy, and it's emotionally driven, and the fear is big that this one guy might be able to return into office one more time. This should give you the bigger picture here. And the thing that really should stick with us is that even if it does not happen, even if Trump does not become president again, or someone else comes in, or someone worse than Biden, if that's possible, comes in, that it is up to us to steer the destiny of this nation, not a president, not even Congress, not even the Senate. It is up to the people. And that's the takeaway here. And I truly believe that in his heart of hearts, that's what Trump really wanted always to see, is the return of responsibility, and people need to take it. People really need to take it. Go and read the Constitution. However cynical you might look at this, or whether it's still intact, or whether it was written by Freemasons, which yes, it was, but even Masonry has changed over time. Even Masonry has been further infiltrated. So look at the Constitution, look at the Bill of Rights, look at the Declaration of Independence, not as an absolute in terms of it can never be improved upon, or it can never be altered in certain ways, because history shows yes, it can, but look at it as something that we still should aspire to live up to. There's so much beauty, so much goodness in it, so much wonder that we need to see and we need to take back. This is the message here. And this is what I've been always getting from the whole Trump deal, is really people need to step up. And that's why certain things move very slowly and others move fast. Certain things move slow because the people were looking at, he should do it. And he's always kind of saying, no, we need to do it. You guys need to do it. We need to take back this country. Again, this is really not pro or against Trump. This is more understanding what this phenomenon is, where we are in this nation's history and in the world's history. And the truth is, it is 2023. We have about 7 years till the tyranny is completed. That's their goal, 2030, the agenda. That's where they want to move us to. Complete control, CBDCs, digital passports, digital health passports, restricted movements, everything only electric, 15-minute cities, vaccines in the food supply chain, and on and on and on and on it goes. This is the agenda. Is what they have been putting out. And so if you don't want that, if you don't want to live in a dystopian nightmare reality, then you have to switch timelines. And on the other timeline, there's only one deal. You have to take responsibility for your own life. No matter how difficult or impossible you think it is, people have lived like that for eons. It's time we return to full self-responsibility. And when we do that, The president doesn't matter as much anymore. When we do that, whoever thinks they have power doesn't matter as much anymore because they don't have it. They only have power as long as we are powerless. And this is how this whole game works. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll be back with you again very, very soon. We're more dedicated than ever to provide authentic, truthful, and uncensored information and inspiration. That's why we created the Inspired community on the free speech platform Locals. There's no censorship, a free flow of information, and it's more personal and intimate. And you can join us as a free member or a paid supporter. Please visit inspired.locals.com and join us today.